All right, well, welcome everybody. We're going to do something very courageous, very brave. Sorry, you might not be able to hear me. We're about to do something very courageous and very brave, which is why I've got this epic Celtic music going on. If it's too loud, let me know. And we should be live. Hello. So, I've done everything necessary. Everything's ready to go. I'm not ready to go, but hopefully I will be. Oh, that's the wrong angle. I want the other end. I don't want to look down there. There we go. Hello, Lexi. Your spirit is very visible. So I have bound off the edge. Did my 11 rows of garter and then an I-cord bind off, which is tedious and takes time, but it's good for TV knitting. So welcome, Lexi, and everyone else who might be just hanging out. Oh, you're still at work? Oh, I am a bad enabler. Okay, so I'm going to scooch this up just a touch. We are going to cut down this middle white line. So here we go. I feel like I need a drum roll or something. Or a shot. I don't drink at all. I don't know why I'm keep teasing about drinking. Here we go. First snip. Oh, that almost. I apologize for the dogs. They're so excited to be home again. Oh. So here we go. We've just snipped it. Thanks, Lexi. I've kind of got the jitters. I didn't expect to be so jittery, but you know, I don't think this wool's going to go far. It's really grippy. And I'm trying to be really careful to only get this top layer cut. Ugh. Lexi, you're so lucky to see this live. I have never steeked before in my life. Oh, and if you can't see, there's a bear up there. He's like, who are you talking to, Kit? And I'm like, not myself, I promise. I have 3 beagles here at home. They are, each one has their own noise level, and it's all set to high. Okay, so we're doing really well. I don't know how well you can see that. I do happen to have a nice, pretty camera. Maybe it'll come a little closer. There we go. Oh my goodness. Beagles have a lot of energy, and you know, we only ever intended to get one. But then my sister, who got Zoe's sibling, decided that having 5 children and a beagle is a little too much for her to handle. And I don't blame her. And so she gave Lizzie to us, and that was her dog. So that was dog number 2. And then I was working in a call center. And the lady who worked as the secretary there, oof, getting out of frame. The lady who was working there, she's like, I've got this boy dog and I'm allergic. And I got him for my son, but my son doesn't care for him much. And I thought, well, that's just the most tragic thing. How can you not love a little sweet bear? You know, beagle. And we saw pictures of him, and I asked my parents if they knew anybody who might need a beagle. I'm going to take a quick break. My Moriarty going on. Anyway, she had that beagle, and my parents were like, yeah, we'll take him. And I'm like, you guys are crazy. Never mind that we have 3 beagles now. Alright, I'm scooching this down just a touch. Well, we're doing this because I knit this cape in the round, but it does need a front. So this is our front. 12 extra feet of what? But, yeah, so, oh yeah, 12 extra beagle feet, maybe? Yeah, we had 4 beagle feet, and then we had 8 more. And so every morning I just hear them galumphing around like elephants as they wait for food. This is going much faster than I thought. Look at that, I'm nearly done. I catcha, Lixie. I catcha. Oh, I am almost in tune to the song, where it comes to its amazing crescendo and do 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 do. So I'm nearly there. And it said to secure it, so I think I was supposed to sew up the lines here. But I'll tell you what, this is very grippy wool. As you can tell, it's not even really losing any of its little edges here. It's still holding on really well. So I don't think I had to secure it, thank goodness, because girlfriend's lazy. Hate to say it, but I am. Now I have the pattern right here. And it told me, under here, to secure and cut steek, which I have done. So right front edging, not that side, that's left, this is my right. Or if it's facing me, this could be a right. It says, with a new strand of main color, smaller needles, and right side facing, work through the purl column of main color next to steek. Pick up and knit 3 stitches along garter edging. Then 1 stitch for every row to cast off edge. It's a little like reading engineering. Yeah, got it. Electronics, they put the little resistor here and the little capacitor here and yeah, I really understood it. I mean, I can't even read how much resistance a resistor has anymore. Those little colored bands on it, I used to be able to read it. Not anymore. So we'll do this one little step at a time. New strand of main color, smaller needles, and right side facing. Right side facing. Okay, well. Don't look at the mic. Stop looking at the mic. Don't want you to look at the mic. The mic is supposed to be out of frame. Okay. So they're supposed to be on a holder, and they are not. So I'm going to find a holder. Usually it's like something real simple, kind of like a safety pin or something. So I will be right back. As I look for this thing. Oh, and there it is right there. It's like a crochet stitch marker, where it comes right off. There we go. And so it's removable. I can put 3 stitches on it. I was looking at the very beginning of my latest VOD where I was playing Undertale. I have no idea what those voices are. I don't think I was listening to anything. I don't recognize any of the voices. So there are ghost voices on my latest VOD in case anybody's interested. Like the first few seconds. Anyway, this thing's heckin' long. Oh yeah. I mean, these are they're not expensive, and they hold 3 stitches really nicely. All right, pulling up a chair because I may not be creaky and old yet, but we might as well avoid what we can while we have them. And I can barely see myself in the little webcam. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is nice that they lock up. I hate stitch markers that just kind of fall off, the kind that are round, but they have that little joint right there. And you're like, well, everything just slips right through that joint. Might as well not even be there. It's obnoxious. I don't like it. I lost my gum. There it is. And it's not even all that wet. Just before stream, I knocked over about 4 cups of water onto the floor. So right now there's a towel down there. Like, why? Why did you do that? Okay. Working through the purl column next to Steek. Pick up and knit 3 stitches along garter edging. So I'll try to pull this where you can see it. Now I gotta find out where the camera is. There it is. So I'm just holding on to this yarn here. With your mom feeding the doggos. They are very eager to be fed. They love it. So, someone got some tuna juice. Bah. I'm going to put that around my neck. There you go. Now, where's my tail? Maybe if I can fill you up. So I can sit back a little bit. I am responsible. And she streams, Lexi. She is play in the mud. So I don't do shout outs yet, so I'll just link it to you. Oh, you follow her. Well, there it is right now. Sorry. Right in the middle of typing that anyway, so there you go. Anybody else who might be watching there's only one viewer. But, isn't she's so fun, and she has cats everywhere. Did Heather tell you the story of her fattest cat, Kiba? Love that story that they live next to a restaurant. And they've tried to put Kiba on a diet before, but then they moved. And there's this restaurant. And the restaurant thought that Kiba was a pregnant female. And so they were thinking of just feeding him, thinking he was a girl. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this stuff. You got all this. Anyway, so I thought Kiba was a pregnant female and started feeding him. And going, gosh, he's not having any kittens. And then they realize, Kiba is not a female. There will never be kittens. There will just be fat kitty. He's very fluffy, and he gets crab legs and lobster tail and all sorts of yummy stuff from all the lovely people at the restaurant. I'm sure there's more than one. So if you see my purl stitches, that's what I'm going for, these guys. It's a little tricky. And if you had my HD vision, which you do not, I'm sorry, you would actually see what I'm doing. I know, that's what the owner says, what Amanda and her husband, who I only know by Robert, Hamster, not Robert. That's what they were saying. This cat eats better than they do. Gosh. Yeah, it's not going anywhere. That stuff's staying. So maybe afterwards I'll come back and sew it or something. And of course the other cats have caught on now. They're like, well, if Cuba's eating all this good food, we want some good food too. And so they go over and they beg for food at the restaurant, and I don't know, restaurant must be a cat lover, someone there. They feed those cats. So tomorrow morning, I go to see the transplant team, the kidney transplant team. Lexi is totally going to kick butt if nobody gives me a permission slip to go to Holland, which is where family is. This is Trixie, precious. Trixie. And, yeah, I think my kidney is still at 38%. Last time I saw the doctor, he was a nurse practitioner, and he said, well, you know, you should be able to go, but I'm not telling you what your numbers are anymore because we don't want you to think about it, I guess. I'm over here going, please let me think about it. I really want to know. But as far as I know, 38% is where I'm at with my kidney. Just one functioning. Kind of fun to go and see the ultrasound because the lady at the technician at the ultrasound, she was kind enough to show me my kidneys. Now, normal size kidney, you take the palm of your hand, and that's how big your kidney is. I have actually held a real life kidney. Okay, it was a cadaver's kidney, so it wasn't really live anymore, but still, that was how big it was. That's how big my current one is. My previous kidneys, not that big. But they're still there. That's what really impressed me. I thought they were like, gone. So I still have old kidneys, and they might not be doing a doggone thing, but the fact that they're still big means they're doing something. You know, even the original ones that were all clogged up with cysts, which was what caused me to have kidney failure in the first place, is that they're still doing something because they haven't been absorbed by the body yet. Kind of gross, isn't it? Sorry. Let's see if I can get it to look a little bit more directly at me. There we go. Weird to see it myself upside down and reversed. But oh well. Oh, yeah, it is. I wish they had taken a video of my transplant. I think that would have been the neatest thing ever. I would have totally been all up for watching my own transplant. Maybe I might have them do that, you know, if they have like a theater room, I'll be like, Dad, get out your camera and take video. Of course, they might not allow that on YouTube or anything because, of course, kidneys are kind of close down to the bikini line. So, we might not be able to, terms of service and all that, they'd be like, no, we can't show that. Besides, gore. I mean, really. Blood's everywhere. You pop a human and, yeah, you're gonna get blood. Anyway, I'm sure that's grossing out the people who might be watching the VOD, and I apologize. We're just bags of blood. I'm sorry. That's why I'm drinking my Moriarty. cool stuff. I finished applying some crazy yarn I did the other day. Like, and by crazy I mean it had a lot of stuff, little bits of silk and oil and little bits of things. So when I weave it up, because I kind of want to weave it instead of knit it, it's going to look funky fabulous. It's going to have like little bits of, little pops of color in this blue, green, gray. It came out kind of gray because the person who made the bat put in a big streak of black, and I thought, well, why would you do that? Black is conservative. Doesn't have to be huge, messy, well. Don't call me fiber racist. That would be rude. Rude. But, you know, I like conservative. I was just really digging the blue and the green and the little bits of purple and pink that were coming through. And then I washed it and I was like, well, this doesn't look that exciting anymore. It was starting to look like a mermaid's tail, and now it just kind of looks like black. So we keep picking up pearls and we keep knitting them. Yeah, I find that I heard about the Notre Dame. It's really quite sad. You know, I mean, it happens. That building is so old, it's not the first fire it's ever seen. And they were able to preserve most of it. But I just think of, you know, that beautiful stained glass rose window that I took so many pictures of as a kid and now can't find the stupid pictures. You know, you move twice, you lose some pictures. And I remember going, I was 12 years old. Well, it was during school, because it was a school field trip. Lucky me. It was a school field trip, and I thought, I'm only 12, I'm going to Paris. Okay. Anyway, I went to the Louvre. And my mother, who spoke just a smattering of French, which was more than the teacher actually spoke, she joined us as a chaperone. And she was busy that entire vacation, because we would stay in that hotel. It was a little, oh, okay. Have a good evening, Lexi. See you next time. And you'll see a little bit more of this cape when I'm done. So I went with my mom up all night in this hotel because these young men are going after these 12-year-old girls who are hanging out the windows. My classmates, yeah. Dumber than a bag of sand. And that's insulting to a bag of sand. Anyway, so I'm up all night. Mom's up all night. We're all just like, stupid girls. Don't invite these boys into your room. And boys, just, if a girl invites you into their room and they're not of legal age, don't do it. Here's how much I've gotten so far. It's not much. I don't know what U time means. Mystery Science Theater, I mean Mountain Standard Time. It's not nighttime here. It's like 5:30. Lexi, I know you live near my time zone, so don't worry, I won't tell the world. Not that the world is really watching me pick up and knit stitches. But I do remember going through the Louvre, and it was really kind of fascinating. I mean, I think back on it now, and I'm like, wow, that was some amazing artwork. My little 12-year-old self couldn't handle all the naked people. And 12-year-old kid goes up to Mom and goes, "Mom, can we just go to the place where people wear clothes?" And I'm referring to, of course, the paintings and not the actual attendees. I also stood in the room where they have the Mona Lisa. And imagine the Mona Lisa's, I don't know how big it really is, but to me it felt like it was a 9 by 12 portrait. In the middle of, an auditorium. Well, no, it wasn't that big of a room. It was, well, the size of maybe twice someone's living room. And it was just this sea of people. And it was really cool to be in the same room as the Mona Lisa, but it was in a bit of a box of glass. So, and the glass was reflective for whatever reason. Why would you do that? So, what I've seen of the Mona Lisa, really I've seen on the internet, and I can say I've been there in person, but that doesn't mean a doggone thing. So, we've got a little bit more done. But I do, outside the Louvre, they have all sorts of artists, freelancers, and a lot of them are caricature type artists. And here I am. I have no self-esteem because I'm 11. 11, 12, that's when it hit. Well, actually, for me, I think it hit around 7. And I was always a chunky girl, and the Dutch don't hold back on their criticisms. So I got to hear a lot about how much weight how fat I was all the time. And of course, it didn't help that I was on prednisone, so kind of a chunky kid. And this guy wants money, basically, but he wants to draw my portrait, and I'm kind of flattered. And I take off my glasses because I don't want him to include my big, dorky glasses in my beautiful painting he did of me. Painting of oil pastels, I think. And so I'm squinting into the sunlight, of course, so it didn't look good in the first place. And for all your new viewers, if you want to watch this later where you can start seeing where I speak, it only took about 10 minutes. Right now I'm just picking up stitches and knitting onto them. Anyway, so I get the painting back, or I get the portrait back once he's finished with it, and I look at it and I'm squinting, and my hair has exploded out from behind me because I was a frizz kid, along with being a chub kid and everything else. Oh, that must have been an increase. Okay. Sorry, it was a weird stitch, and I thought, what in the world? Oh, I'm sorry, Heather, but you can see it, later after I'm done streaming. You can look at the VOD. It went really fast. So I get this portrait back from the person before the Louvre. It looks terrible. I hide it in the bottom of my underwear drawer so I can't ever see it. And that was my adventures of Paris. How are you doing, Heather? Do you have a good day? Is my music too loud? But I consider myself to have really had a very rich childhood. But there were some things that weren't as amazing as others, being raised by Dutch women who thought I was chunky. Cool. I noticed that you were working on your loom last night. And did you get it fully, what's the word? Warped? Yeah, fully warped. That's how new I am to this whole weaving gig. I don't remember all the terminology. But words are working for me today. That's good. One of my favorite things growing up was going to all the, castle ruins in Germany. All those Roman and Gothic structures. Yeah, halfway is a good place. I mean, no one says you have to fully warp your loom. If you want just a little bit. Oh, which reminds me, I finished my little semi-project. Just go get it. This is what I finished with. I mean, it's not that wide. It's about maybe 3 inches. And it sparkles, which you can't really tell in this light or with this camera. But it has some really nice saturated colors. Really quite pleased with it. And here are the ends. Basically, I just cut off the ends and then I knotted them. And that was just 11 dents, So came out a little wider than I thought it would be because it's 10 dents per inch. And that's not an inch, that's more than an inch. Do you need more dents per inch? Or fewer? Yeah, mine came with 7.5. Ah, okay. Yeah, I have that 10. And you see what kind of dense fabric it created. You can always buy those, they're $25. And I'm like, spend more money, Heather, spend more money, Heather, spend more money, Heather. Sorry. I'm sending you a present, though, to make up for all the money I'm making you spend. But, it's still cheaper than therapy. That's what I tell everybody. Yarn is cheaper than therapy. And it works just as well. I know I don't have to send you anything, but I'm gonna. It's just how I be. Oh, I read that as a bigger resident instead of read/dent. Oh, there go the beagles. I must have heard someone barking outside. Which reminds me, Resident. I want to watch Resident Evil tonight. I know, right? It's so loud. I'm so sorry. Doggone dogs. And Bear is our baritone, Zoe is our alto, and Lizzie is our super high soprano puppy. She's the one that you hear. And then you hear Bear burr, burr. It is funny. Until you get used to it, and then you're just like, ah, again. There we go. We're getting there. We're past halfway. We are past halfway, yes. Barely, but we're there. So yeah, you notice I have 2 cameras. And yeah, I pulled this guy. Pulled him out of my room. Yeah, he was just sitting there on the floor going, no, I'm never gonna get used. Well, yes, I think everything has a personality. It's what makes me so delightfully crazy. I remember as a kid walking around this one ruin in Germany. Beautiful place, you know, it's just so green there. It's so green. I'm sure everybody who's, oh, I don't know, out of the Midwest, west of the Midwest and west of Utah, so basically California, Washington, Oregon area, and everybody east of Missouri understands how green everything gets. But, well, even in like East Kansas, it's beautiful. It's so green. And yeah, Germany was even more lush than that. And so it was really nice to just go. That's my home, basically. I was raised in Germany. I lived in Kansas longer than I ever lived in Germany, but I don't really consider Kansas much of my own home. Especially since when I left, I didn't have very many friends left. And that wasn't due to me being a total hag or anything, because, you know, I can be. When the hormone and the moons and the stars and the planets are aligned all just right, and I am a horrible monster. But normally I'm not. And, you know, but I don't know, they were super cliquish in Kansas. Especially the members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, which I'm a member of. They just seemed awfully rude. And, you know, I had one or two friends out there. I really did. But I was always, hi, Michaela. No sound. I'm sorry. It says everything's working here. Have you checked? Oh, I guess if she can't hear me, I will wave to the camera. Yeah, you know, Italy must have been a wonderful place to grow up. That I've seen pictures and I've seen things, and it's just amazing. And I've been there once or twice. Oh, she doesn't have sound on purpose. That makes sense then. Picking out all these little tiny pearls. And not the oceany kind. Cool. Just follow along. Liz! It's Liz! Hi, Liz. Anyway, I'm just reminiscing. Nothing more to talk about while I pick up. You can see that I have cut the fabric. Dun dun dun! Look at those raggedy edges. Okay. There we go. So yeah, we've done all the scary stuff now. I still have a almost full cup of tea. Full cup of tea that's nearly cold. Gotta drink more faster. I decided to go with the lemongrass lavender, which is like 99% lavender. Or no. Switch that. 99% lemongrass. And a little bit of lavender. I am making the Ophelia shawl. So you can see this lovely damsel. There we go. She is wearing it. She is also on the cover. So this is Interweave Knits Summer 2017. And I just saw that and I was like, hey, I'm going to be going to LARP. Maybe I should have a beautiful cape. Except the LARP is in California, and even in November, there was no way I'm wearing a wool cape. Becca? Hi, Becca. Oh well, I will have a nice warm cape for the middle of winter. Lovely, lovely. Hello, Crystal! Oh my goodness, everybody's coming to see me. Oh, you guys don't know how happy that makes me feel, you know? I'm like super duper flattered. What? Crystal, I'm allowed to have a cape. I'm not a superhero. Yet. Becca has felt the cape. It is a monster. It is so heavy and it's so warm. So, like, mid-February. Crystal! I'm sorry, I can't squeak like Misha does. I'm always afraid of blowing out the microphone or your headphones. I didn't bring it to Colorado, did I, Heather? I brought just the hood. I was working on the hood out there. I don't know. But yeah, it is a sucker. A real heavy sucker. You did feel the hood, and it is kind of, it's got some substantial weight. It's not light by any means. But that means it'll have just this tremendous, magnificent drape to it. And then it'll just kind of be like, oh, is it middle of January? I don't feel it. I'm wearing a cape. And then I'm thinking of using my loom to piece together little strips. For those who missed it, here is the result of my looming, my weaving. And it's really dense. There's no light coming through this, you know. If I held this up to the camera, you would be completely blind. In fact, yeah. It's dense. So yeah, if I make like a whole bunch of those and stitch them together and kind of draw in the top, I'll have a really cool cape that is woven and maybe a little lighter than this beast. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just picking up the little line of purl stitches just before the steek. So you have your steek here, and then right in there is your purl, and that's what I'm picking up and knitting. Oh, Heather's gonna have to make a cape, or at least a lot of really cool scarves for winter for people that she loves. Me. I want a scarf that's woven on the loom, but that would look really cool. I wonder, do you remember who that vendor was that had all that, like, that collection of crazy acrylic yarns just hung in bunches? Because that was so cool. Oh, Heather will figure it out really fast. Anyway, if I figured that who they are, they had some really neat color combos. They weren't over by Janice. They were more like the row right behind Carolyn. Like Carolyn's here, and they were like right behind and to the side. I did buy from them. I bought like, oh, and they did a dance for us. Do you remember that? They were singing and dancing because it was like end of the day. I could totally weave a teeny tiny scarf for your Nova. Not the last day. It was like the Friday. Anyway, I have their bags, so I'll probably just pull out and see if they pull the yarn out and see if I have a card in there for them. But yeah, they were just sweet people, and they were dancing for us. They were very kind. We were kind of dead on our feet, though. I mean, I could make this, Becca, but it's about the size of Nova. Oh, come here. Ooh, there we go. Lay him down so you guys can see him real good. And yeah, this is like I don't know, it's like the Lenny Kravitz scarf. Have you seen the picture of that? Huge, enormous thing. There we go. Yeah, Nova's got a Lenny Kravitz scarf now. 1/3 of that one. Okay. Well, at that point, why don't I just get an inkle loom? I just get some ribbon to put on it. Inkle loom. That's what they make lace out of. Or, well, no, not lace. Laces. Shoelaces. And I mean, it looks really intricate and really pretty. But boy, that's a lot of heckin' work. I know, right? Us yarnies and our yarny stuff. I don't mean to have so much yarny stuff, you clay people and your clay stuff. Like, I'd never seen half of the stuff that, you use for your clay. Like, I don't know, little fingernail polish polka dotters? Never seen that before. Didn't even know that was a thing. So, yeah, before you start saying something about us, yes, the dotting tools. I don't wear fingernail polish because I'm allergic. I used to, and then I got allergified. Nova left us a gift. Oh, lucky 13. Hold on. There, like a lucky 20. My D&D buddies are all very jealous of my... Oh, I did not fully cut this open. They're very jealous of my Nova. I told them to go to Hot Topic, but it's probably sold out in Orem. Too bad for them, they snooze, they lose. Don't you sip at me, Becca. Don't you sip. Don't at me, bro. Don't at me. Okay, nearly to the end of this monster. And then I get to do 3 rows of garter stitch. Which you all know, obviously, by now. Garter stitch. So easy. Becca! How dare! How dare you! Rude. Once the stream gets going, I'm gonna have a very cool rude emoticon. That'll probably be my first one. Rude. Garter stitch is amateur hour for people who know what it is. I learned to knit in Germany. It was an after-school program my sister and I both attended back when we were still buddies. And I caught on to it like it was a disease. I mean, I couldn't stop knitting, and I think I lost all of my mom's knitting needles, and I definitely lost all of her yarn. My bad. But she didn't mind, I guess. Liz knows plenty about everything. She sews. She sews very pretty things. I will have shout-outs set up soon so that I can shout out all of my beautiful people, but with the hugs, dragons and beasties, and simply novelists, they all stream, so click on them. And that's to the people who might view this way in the future. Who knows, might have a VOD at that point. And now she's dunding me. Pren done. Pren has the best emotes. Jealous of her. Heather! You stream? I didn't know Heather stream. Oh, thanks, Heather. Even when you're not a mod, you're kind of nodding. You have to steal his husband, Liz. I didn't think you were close enough to be stealing anybody's husband. That's what I thought, Heather. I didn't think you were a fan of the streaming thing. Not that this is a bad thing. You don't have to. Oh, Liz doesn't stream. Whoopsies. Alright. This thing is like a porcupine, Becca. Why'd you make him so spiky? He's like hard to hold because he's like, nah, I'm gonna stab you to death. I'll follow you anyway, Liz, because I love you. Oh my, oh my. Just remember, terms of service, people. Dragons are sharp, I guess. This one's just so cute. You're like, why would you be sharp? And he's like, yeah, I'm sharp. Alright, we're nearly to the very end. Woot woot! Let's see. Hood goes here at the very top. So when I'm done with the hood, this is little edge. This is neck. And the other edge has a foldy brown bit. All of the sharps. Boy, you're sounding like a nursing instructor. Whoa. They told me in nursing school that if I had an uncapped needle and nowhere to dispose of it immediately, I'm supposed to hold it up and run around, not run around, but go straight, make a beeline for the nearest sharps container, all the while chanting, sharp, sharp, sharp. And I was like, okay, that's just a little absurd. Run around. I'm not going to run around with those sharps. Alright, back to the instructions. And this is a chart. This is the color chart. Is that not intimidating? Noted, run with all the sharps. Crystal! I'm teaching you guys bad things and I'm going to get fired from the job I do not have. Okay, pick up and knit 3 stitches. I did that, and 1 stitch for each row to cast on edge. Do not join. Knit 5 rows. Okay, we are knit 5 rows. I have some highlighter tape, I love it. Teaching all the important protocols. Yes. And Doc really won't mind when you stab him to death with that exposed needle. He'll be like, oh, ha 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 ha, that was just charming. Aren't you cute? Well, now, with everything all set up, oh, this might be a little tricky. Okay. Put the mic away, put the cutting board away. Throw it on the ground, I'll pick it up later. Flip this over. So you get to see the guts and the inside of the knitting. See, it's all guts. Guts and insides of the knitting. Pardon my phone. It was very rude and made a noise. What? Let's see. What the heck in legal notice about class action settlement against Visa and MasterCard? Huh, scam, but looks super official. Guts and glory. I mean, you notice that I had an oopsie here because I switched which side was, well, it's a color thing. Nobody's gonna notice. You know, it's like, don't look at it. And we bring, because I'm clever, I have circular needles, which means that this blanket won't get too heavy, hopefully. Becca noticed it, and she's shaming me for being a bad knitter. She's like, Cat, look at that awful color work of yours. It's embarrassing. You'll never win the purple ribbon at the county fair. It would be kind of fun to take this to the county fair. Let's see. That work? Nope. Hooray! There we go. I don't have to lean so far forward. I feel like you gotta work with the camera and the camera's gotta work with you. Yeah, we gotta see your superior knitting skills if you're so much better than me, Becca. And I just dropped a stitch while saying that. Ah, your arrogance. Ooh, I want to see Becca knit a dragon rat into life. That'd be so cool. Becca's like gone hiding. She's like, no. I'm being called out on Kit's stream. Now I gotta go. It was obviously sarcasm, but we call you out on it anyway. Oh yes, my dragon without the wings on it. Give me a second. Gotta pull my needles through so I don't lose any more stitches. Here we go, I'm back again. And this is my dragon boy. I'll just raise this up a little bit so you can see him fully. He doesn't have any wings yet. He has a curly tail. And he is soft, not spiky. Not a spiky dragon. I can pet him and not get a disease. He still needs some wings on him. They'll be the same color as his little ridge right here. And maybe some extra horns, I don't know. But yeah, I love him to pieces. He's a naughty dragon. Cheeky guy. Cheeky boy who likes to lem. Oh, thank you, Liz. Thanks, Crystal. You guys are so sweet. I love him too, so nobody gets to have him but me. And I mean, you probably recognize the pattern that's from. It's all over Pinterest and such. Yeah, Heather knows this pattern. It's a knit. Oh no, it's not knitted. It's a crocheted pattern. But yeah, I stuffed him kind of not so tightly. Because you can kind of see through the stitches a little bit, maybe. He's got yarn ends in him. Yeah, you can see right there at that joint. Look, right there. These are just little pokey colors. So I need to undo him a little bit and stuff him a little more full. You're not gonna sneak in and steal him, Becca, or I get to steal all your stuff, and you got lots more stuff I want. Morty. Yeah, I will totally know it was you. I'll be like, Becca. And then you'll have to be just embarrassed because I will come back to your home. Oh, I need to show the mug. Yes, there we go. It's a Moriarty. That's what people brew. It's one of my favorite mugs now. And it's not a dragon mug, which is weird because I have so many dragon mugs. And that is by Poly Studios. You know it's Poly Studios because, I'm going to raise this up again. At the bottom of the handle is a little paw. They all have that little paw print, and it's just the most precious thing in the world. That was a great purchase. I always purchase mugs at places, you know, like one of my very favorites is a dragon mug that I got at the Kansas City Renaissance Festival. And it's just a mug, but it has like a little dragon head poking out. Oh, it's Moriarty, like the villain from Sherlock and Sherlock Holmes, Crystal. It's Moriarty. Anyway, this little dragon is hollowed through the middle, and then there's a little hole at the bottom, and you can just sip right from his mouth. So it looks like you're kissing a dragon while you sip your beverage. It is a Sherlock joke. That's alright, Crystal. You just need to catch up on your Benedict Cumberbatch. I love him in the Benedict Cumberbatch because he is such a creepy dude. Oh my gosh, what a villain. Yes, Crystal, you must get into Sherlock. It will keep you up all night and then some, because each episode, and there are 3 per season and 3 seasons, but each episode is 2 hours long. Bandicoot kiss my pants. Ooh. Well then. Benedict Cumberson? I like that one. Ah. Love this yarn. It's a little splitty. And by splitty, I mean, do you see that? What's going on with that needle? Oh, I don't know, maybe you don't. The full yarn doesn't get on the needle. It's just like a little loop. So I gotta pick it off. Oh, I know, didn't it, Liz? They were all so good, though. And the fandom scared me to death. I don't like the Sherlock fandom. They're a little scary. So is the Supernatural fandom. They're a little scary. Trying not to crack up at work. I didn't realize I was so silly. I'm trying to be super serious business. You know, because I'm professional, like Becca. As we all know, Becca's a real professional. But then, of course, Poly Studios has all sorts of really fun mugs. I love their yarn mug. I have one of my own. It's a travel mug. Hello, Jacob. I'm so sorry. I can't see very well. It's good to meet you. Happy raiding. I have never been raided before. I'm so happy. Thank you so much for coming. I am making the Olivia cape, and it's from the summer 2017 Interweave Knits magazine. For my fellow raiders, my darling raiders, it's the one on this cover. So I'm trying to be fancy. I don't have her cheekbone structure, which is really sad because she looks amazing in this cape. But I'm hoping that maybe a little of the amazingness rubs off me. That's so kind of you, Jacob. I appreciate it. Yeah, Becca, some of the fandoms are just, woo, okay. We're talking about Sherlock Holmes and the craziness of fandoms. Oh yeah, I was thinking of the trio, the Super Wholock fandom, where they like Supernatural, Doctor Who, and Sherlock. And ooh, okay, yeah, we don't want to go near that one. Thank you, J Cod. I love the clasps too. I've been looking everywhere for them, and I'm having a hard time finding them. So I might have to, I don't know, jury rig some, I don't know, some belts or something. Go to my local thrift shop and just find some belts and cut them down and just attach them to this. See if my sewing machine can handle that. I don't know. I have to do that by hand. Yeah, get myself into leatherworking. I hear that's a pretty fun thing to do, actually. I have a friend who does a little leatherworking for her LARP. And the results have been really cool. She did some gauntlets and just drew, I don't know, like some sort of in-game goddess on her, her arm warmer of gauntlets. It shouldn't be too hard. I mean, yeah, you get a little hammer, you get a hammer, you get like an awl or something, and just beat some holes into some leather. Can't be too hard. Because the alternative is similar, the same company that makes those clasps also makes other ones, and they run for $20, and like two of those would be $20 a piece. That'd be 40. I ain't got that kind of money. My money tree done died. Pardon my Kansas accent there. Yeah, they're pricey, so we'll see. I might just weave. Weave some clasps. Ooh, that'd be kind of cool. This is what I've woven so far. It's very dense. And that's just some sock yarn. And it glitters. Oh, you can actually see it on the camera. It glitters. So if I make like a clasp out of that or something, I don't know, it could look good. Alright. That is row number 1 out of 5. Oh my goodness. That's why I have the good music on today. There we go. You don't get to see the guts in the moment. Okay, you see the guts a little bit. This is just holding the I-cord bind off. Just these 3 stitches that I'll be picking up and using again later. This music is so motivating. I love it. Like, I go for a walk and I listen to this stuff. It's Epic Music World, and they have a Celtic mix. Okay, it's good to meet you, J Cod. It was great to meet you, and thank you so much for the raid, and I hope you have a lovely day. So yeah, I love listening to this kind of music and going for a walk. Totally my jam. Let's shove those stitches up there. Steeking, Becca, is when, and you kind of missed out, but you can see the raw edges here. I cut that. That's called steeking, when you cut something you've knit. It is not a steak strip. I promised her some jerky, and they're called steak strips, and they're so good. And I couldn't remember the word for jerky, so I just said steak strip. And now I'm getting harassed forever for it. Thanks so much, Becca. Water or steak strips, only. Only those two. She would have to either die of thirst or die of hunger. I don't have much in the way of keto-friendly food at my house. I'm so sorry, Becca. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed those. They are kind of amazing, and they get stuck in your teeth like big time. You did eat like half the bag, and that is a-okay because, you know, good for ya. Trying to knit in an angle this. There we go. You do not owe me anything, and I really don't want those steak strips that you ate. You can keep those to yourself. It's just my duty as a host to make sure that my guests are fed and watered. That way I can somewhat guarantee that you'll come back again someday. Maybe. Yes, like horses. Becca was a good horsey. She's a good pony. We watched The Promised Neverland, and we watched 7 episodes straight. And Becca, great news. It does not leave off at episode 12. You know, that would be a good reason to get a Costco membership, Becca. Yep, it's only stopped at 12 because they're still working on episode 13 and forever beyond. My brother's friend Janae, who's also a friend of mine actually, she's a very sweet girl, but she predicted that there might be even 3 seasons at 26 episodes apiece of The Promised Neverland, and oh yeah. And then of course, Dawn showed me a little spoiler of future things to come, and well, let's just say other farms are not as nice as the ones that Emma are on. Emma and Ray and white-haired dude. I forget his name. So you're like, you know, Mother is not as evil as she comes off to be. And that's about as much spoilers I want to allow. For anyone who wants to watch The Promised Neverland, it is amazing. Like, seriously, so good. Nope, no spoilers here. Nope, I'm all done. I'm not talking about it anymore. I'm on chapter 70 of Full Metal Alchemist, though. And that's kind of spoilery, you know, for anybody who's not seen Full Metal Alchemist like I have. I'm reading it instead. Oh, I think I broke Becca. Sorry, guys. I know, right? Full Metal is totally your jam. I loved your Full Metal Alchemist jacket the other day. That was so cool. So, you know, I might get a Ed jacket like yours, or I might get a Captain Marvel jacket. Gotta see what I find. I think I'm totally in love with Captain Marvel, and I want to be her when I grow up. And I'm glad I have beagles instead of gooses. So, I do like her humor. She's pretty sassy. She's a sassy girl like me. And of course, Jude Law. And always watch Jude Law for forever. Which is why I like the other Sherlock Holmes. The one with Tony Stark. Robert Downey Jr., man, he is a crack up. Oh, what happened to it? So Dawn and I watched some more Gabrielle drop out yesterday. It's still silly. It's still kind of cute. Gabriel Dropout is about demons and angels that come to Earth to kind of... They do kind of like a little bit of a internship before they get to become full-fledged angels and demons. And Gabrielle, of course, she is a fallen angel in that at first she's like so happy to be this helpful, wonderful, angelic person. And then she gets caught up in online gaming. In one of those pay-to-play type online games. And loses it. She just completely involves herself in the game, and she decides that she is no longer wanting to be an angel. She is wanting to be a fallen angel. Well, and then she has a friend who's a demon. And the demon is so helpful. She's kind of losing out on her ability to be a good demon. It's great. And of course, hilarity ensues. It's kind of a day in the life of kind of anime. Not my favorite. Okay. See you in a little bit, Heather. I do like day in the life of animes, but in short doses. There we go, that's row 2. Back to the guts. Don't want to hear no words about my guts. Becca. Number 3 here. Okay, after 5 rows, so this is row 3, 5, we do not bind off, we break the yarn. Then we take those 3 I-cord stitches onto the seam needle, reattach the main color, 3 rows of applied I-cord. What? Oh my goodness. I'll have to look that up because I don't know what applied I-cord is. I do got the guts, Becca. Gutsy girl. That's why I keep getting into trouble too, you know? Guts. Not sure if any of you guys have seen Berserk. Oh. Don't watch Berserk. If you like being happy, it's even darker than The Promised Neverland. So if you really like being happy and untroubled in your life, don't watch Berserk. Don't read Blade of the Immortal. I haven't seen the anime, but I wouldn't recommend watching that either. A platicorn is a pattern unicorn. Wears a flannel shirt. No. Oh, Heather. Becca, that was naughty. That was a bad joke. You know, it's funny that for a while I didn't watch anime or anything. I wasn't into it. Just didn't feel like I was really a big fan of anime. And then I decided, well, I think I'll get back into it. And now I'm back in both feet. I think I started off with Hozuki no Tetsu, which is Hozuki's cool-mindedness, day in the life of in Japanese hell, following, the second in command, Hozuki. He is very chill, but he's got to deal with the madness that is Japanese hell, and they've got like a specific hell for all sorts of things. My favorite hell is the hell for people who are abusive to animals, because those animals come round again and abuse the people back. And I'm like, yeah! I'm all for animal abusers getting abused back by the animals and getting chewed on and pecked on and whatever else, scratched their eyes out. I also think that hell is different for different people, Like, can you imagine being, I don't know, like going to the wrong hell on accident? I like to think that you create your own hell, and that you create your own misery and torment. And if you're really evil and you don't believe in that sort of thing, it comes around to bite you. Kind of like karma. Live with it. Oh, that would be hell. Spreadsheet hell. Of course, Heather would love that sort of thing. She's totally into the spreadsheets and the being organized. I don't mind spreadsheets so much, They're just meh. I think my hell will be working for that doctor again that I used to work for. I don't think I've ever mentioned him. He was a bully. He screamed at me, expected me to read his mind. Screamed at me if I didn't read his mind. Paid me almost nothing for what I had to do all day for him. And yelled at me, screamed at me, raised voices and wide eyes and red face, kind of screaming at me for all the dumbest things. Like if papers were out of place. He was not a nice person. That would be my hell if I had to work for him again. And the awkward thing was that he was my dad's best friend. And so I'd tell my dad, and my dad would be like, oh, well, that's just because, etc., devil's advocate type of thing. And I'm like, Dad, no, he's being so nasty to me. He's being so awful. He's like, well, he doesn't mean it. He's just a grumpy guy. I wasn't buying it for a moment. He was cruel. He was cruel and abusive, and I should have gotten away from him much earlier than I did. Worked for him for about 2.5 years. And it came down to not having the ear wash equipment ready. Like, he wanted the ear wash equipment. And so I thought he wanted the components all together, all ready to go. He wanted me to actually fill it with warm water, which would have turned cold for as long as he would have been, which would cause vertigo in the person he was ear washing. So I assumed that he just wanted me to have it all ready for him to go and put fresh hot water in there. And nope, he wanted it all, and so he was screaming and yelling at me, and it was a big old to-do. And I'm like, this isn't worth it. Well, I was able to go home for about half an hour for lunch. I lived about 5 minutes drive away. And I come home and I'm just sobbing. It's the worst day in the world. I'm a total wreck. I'm so angry and so upset by all of this and just trembling. And, my mom's like gathering me in her arms and she's like, well, why don't you just quit? And the whole world stopped for a moment. And I'm like, quit? And mom's like, yeah, just quit. I'm like, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna quit. And so, I went back from lunch and I finished my shift. And end of the day, I thought, well, I'll give him a little chance. Which, dumb. Don't give your abusers a chance. They'll just abuse you more. Anyway, I went up to him and I said, I'm very tired of you yelling at me all the time. You're just screaming at me. And he's like, well, I'm tired of you messing up all the time. What are you going to do about it? And so I typed up, a 2 weeks notice, and I slapped it down on his desk, and I'm like, I'm giving you my 2 weeks. Yeah, right, Liz? Moms always know what to say. They're like, yeah, I'm cool. Just quit. And I'm like, you know what? I don't make enough money for this. Of course I'm going to quit. But, when you're in an abusive relationship, you kind of feel like you're a fish in an aquarium. And you don't know how to get out for a while until someone just goes, you're not a fish. And then you're like, oh, yeah, I could get out of the aquarium. Isn't my mom just amazing? I love her so much. She's one of my very best friends. Aww. Let's hear it for moms. They need more than just a day. Mothers need a whole month. Mother's Month. So, here we go. Number 4, row 4. Then we do the applied I chord, which I have no idea what that is. I'll figure it out. So I quit. And my dad would still invite this guy, this monster of a man, out for walks and everything. And he would come to the house and I'd be like, yeah, there's no doggone way I'm going upstairs to see him. A very nice basement, And I can be quiet as a mouse. He never knew I was there. But, did not like that guy. And the whole experience was just bad. Didn't work out for me at all. And I think that was the last time I worked in a nursing home and in medical facility at all. I tried working at the Utah State Hospital in Provo. It's a mental hospital, but I've worked there before. And the people are really nice who work there. If I ever go crazy, I'm going there. And, I really got along well with the staff when I worked there before. But I was not what they were looking for in a candidate, I suppose. Right, Becca? When we go crazy, they don't allow knitting needles, but they allow crochet hooks. So we'll just have to crochet ourselves some crazy Afghans. Kathy said to me as I was also crying on her shoulder, well, if you were too sick to work a regular job, then make your own. You've always been good at that. You can do it. Boom, life changer. Right? Kathy is amazing. Go, Kathy. I I might do that myself. I don't know. I'm not much of a business person. I'd probably, I don't know, go bankrupt, and I don't want to do that. But it is an alternative to think of, for sure, Liz. Anyway, so yeah, my mom saved my life several times, given me a kidney, that kind of thing. She was my first donor. Took a dead person to replace her. Oh, that's terrible. What happened with my second donor is that it was a young girl and involved in a motorcycle accident. And her parents were willing to give up her kidney to save other people. And I have never gotten in touch with them, and they've never gotten in touch with me. And I think that's just for the best. It always felt so awkward when I thought about maybe contacting my donor's family. And just, you know what? I'm living a good life. This kidney has worked really well. It's been 18 years now as of April 7. And yeah, I'm really proud of it. Tough little kidney. So, yeah, I decided to allow my LPN, my license, to just... Liz, I am super happy you are here. I love you. You were one of my friends, man. You were one of my good friends. But yeah, I haven't looked back, and I'm not sorry I haven't. Aww, Liz, if you keep that up, I'm going to cry. And we're not going to do the ugly cry on stream. Or if I do, I'm blaming it on you. And then I'll get makeup on my pretty cloak. For shame. Anyway. I worked for 2 years with a woman who dyes wool. Heather has met her, and she's a very pleasant lady, but she's an A-type personality. Snip, snort, drool. Okay, I don't drool when I ugly cry. I do that when I sleep and I'm sick, so. That's pleasant. Yeah, I really liked working for Carolyn and for Greenwood Fiberworks. Very good people. They treated me very well. And then I went to school. And Church of Jesus Christ has a pathway. Who is that? Is that a new follow? Why doesn't it show me? Welcome, new follow. Thank you. And, I don't have that window open or something. No resubs. Melly Mellow 88, thank you. Thank you so much. Anyway, I've worked for her for 2 years and I went to school. Church of Jesus Christ had the kind of like a pathways, which is, they catch you up on all your high school type education that you'll need to get into college. And then for $72 a credit hour, you can go to BYU, Idaho. And that's a beautiful deal, I'll tell you. And you don't have to pay for admittance or anything like that, just the credit hours. The problem was, when I went to BYU, Idaho, I finished Pathways and it was brilliant. I did really well. I really enjoyed the math part. And I went to BYU with BYU, Idaho with an intention to get some sort of software degree, software engineering. The only problem was they were having email issues halfway through the semester. I remember being up in Kansas, and I brought my brought my computer with me, my laptop, and I was coding and I was doing all sorts of things and taking a 200 level course, which was really stupid. I should have taken a 100 level course. But, I'm a little bit proud, and anyway. I couldn't get any help from my instructors. I'd email them and email them and email them, and there was no response. And I thought at first it was just one instructor. So I contacted my student representative, said, "Hey, what's going on? Why isn't this professor writing me back?" She's like, "No clue, but if you want to, you can send a complaint. And here's the form, I'll email it to you." I checked my email, nothing. I check all my emails. I mean, they had access to different emails in different sections because they were transferring from one to another. Level 9,000! They were, one sort of schooling program to another, which is fine. I don't, that's cool if it works better for them. But if they were unable to access their emails, they should have let everybody know, because I didn't get that email form. And I'm asking my classmates, and they're like, "Well, you should have gone to this whole entirely different section of the BYU Idaho website to access your email." And I thought, of all the stupid things, okay, that's just one of the biggest problems a school can have, where you can't communicate with your dean, you can't communicate with your professors, you can't communicate with other students. It's just a flustercuck, if you ask me. And so I decided, no, I'm not going to keep going to BYU Idaho. This is too much of a hot mess for me right now. And I haven't been doing anything since, because my kidneys been, functioning has been going downhill. I can feel that brain fog coming from, built up cluster fluff. I can feel that brain fog. You probably notice that I get easily distracted anyway, and then it takes me just a few moments to get back on track. Don't you sip at me, Becca. Don't you sip. Okay, that was number 4. Oh, here we go, number 5. You see my guts again. I'm just blah, 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 blah. Inner workings of my color works. So yeah, with brain fog, I'm thinking I didn't do well with brain fog in the first place when I had my second transplant. I was going into medical technology, which is basically the lab people who draw the blood and then check the blood for all sorts of levels and things like that. And it was really fascinating too, which is really upsetting to me now, because I thought, oh, if I could have only had my brain clear, if I was smart enough, I would have quit, gotten my kidney, and gone back again. But I didn't. I'm not that smart. They flunked me out anyway. They were just cruel, and one professor looked like Pearl Forrester from Mystery Science Theater, and I was like, this is not a good sign. And so I just, after my kidney transplant, I'm like, I'll just finish my bachelor's to as fast to whatever I have closest. Liz, go to work. Keep me on, but go to work. And so I just decided not to go back to medtech school after my kidney transplant. I thought I have to do something better. But I have my bachelor's, for all the good that does me. Went to LPN school right after. After I got my CNA, I did that first. Are you working on another paint splatter, Greg and Liz? Because I really loved yours. I'm so sad I didn't have the money to afford it. I also love your bunnies. I want your bunnies. Your bunny hugs. There we go. So does it bother people that I'm knitting, like, you're seeing the camera from an upside down view? Does that bother you? Because I should probably switch my camera otherwise. Okay, what's the debate in your head, Liz? Hippos or red pandas? Dude, red pandas all the way. All the way. Never debate between hippos and red pandas. Red pandas come first, and then the hippos. Oh, I think my music went away. Let's see if we can find some more. Oh. Continue watching. Yes, please. There you are. Okay. I was on the wrong thing. There we go. And if it's red pandas or dragons, dragons. I always tell people, be good, and if you can't be good, be a dragon. Or Batman. But Batman's like inherently good, so, you know, if you're gonna be bad, that at least be something cool that's bad, like a dragon. Our D&D session was so funny on Saturday. We came across this clearing. Oh yeah. They're both going in the shop this week. I have to do the wedding dragon first. I like this idea, wedding dragon. I might commission you one if I ever get married. And I've lost my train of thought. Oh well, at least I can knit without having to think about it. Several times Heather had to be like, you were talking about this. Oh yeah. Oh, my brain's out. D&D. That's what I was talking about. Come upon this empty field full of corpses. It's the weirdest thing. And, you know, a fire that had just recently gone out, and the corpses were not fresh. Right, Liz? And so my druid character, she's looking at the carnage and really getting grossed out because she doesn't like dirt and gross things. Yeah. Don't ask me why she's a druid who doesn't like gross things. But she's looking over it all. She's like, man, we should probably say something in honor of all these people who have passed on. Which is funny because the cleric was standing right there and she didn't care. Well, our dragon in the party, because we do happen to have a dragon in the party. She's a little black dragon. We call her Worm. She's in human form, and she does this. Thank you for the food. You'll pray over the food. I'm like, no, you're not eating the corpses, Worm. Aw, Mom. We have a very bizarre group when it comes to our D&D group. We have a man who was once a crow, now he's a warlock. Bye! Have a good dinner, Becca, and thank you for coming and watching with me. It was really nice of you. Have a great day. Our crow, he used to be a crow, is now a warlock. Every so often, if the wizard needs a couple of feathers for his spells, he just reaches out and plucks a few from the head of our warlock. Not that they're actually feathers on his head, but they turn into feathers when he needs to. I let this pass as a DM. I don't know if my brother ever will let that pass. He's the DM now. Because I want to play. And then, of course, we had our full group. We had a cleric, a wizard, a warlock, a thief, a rogue, and what was that other one? A fighter. We had quite a big group, 5 people. And then Jessica wanted to play, so we created Worm, the dragon. And she's here, off again, on again kind of person, so if she's not around, we just say that the dragon's hanging out in the forest eating deer. And when she's here, she interacts with the party. And then, our warlock is a crow. We have another fighter who replaced our original fighter. We have me. My brother, who was formerly a barbarian, now he's a DM. We loved Don's character. His barbarian was so funny. It's just, what is it? The angelic form of a tiefling, because the tiefling are demonic, but then they're the angelics, and I forget what they're called, but he was one of those. And Order of the Stripes, something like that, where he was a very enthusiastic masochist. Every scar he got, he was just so excited, you know? Like Dawn, you've got a very strange sort of character. He's like, I know, I like him. Okay. So he's just having a good time. We love Cord, and I was shipping our cleric Dis, who is a dwarf, with Cord the barbarian, because I was like, then you can call yourselves Discord! Oh! My friend Alicia thought that was the most hilarious thing. My brother was just like, I'm like, Dawn, I'm not trying to hook you two up, because Alicia's already married to our wizard, Justin, you know, the one who's writing a book on poo. Not a real book, just in-game. We avoid him for that, and we all, Dis yells at Draconis whenever he brings up this magnificent book he's created. I don't know where he got that idea, but I love it. Okay, that was 5 rows. Now for the applied I-chord. We're gonna look that up. So watch me Google. Yes, it is. Not bind off, just I-chord. How do I do that? That's I want. Otherwise, I might have to look at a picture, and the picture doesn't look like it would tell me anything. Oh. It looks like that. That's very swifty. Oh, 10% off. Nice. No, thank you. Alright. What? Seriously? Okay, that sounds really unnecessarily confusing. Okay. I see. Okay, so I've got to break off the main color. And by break, I mean snip. Ding! We have these 3 I-chord stitches sitting here. Sitting pretty. And because we don't have enough ends to flip and weave in, I'm just going to put some more. Okay, place the 3 doggone rolly ends. I'm going to block you. And by block, I mean like you would block anything knitted, and stretch it out within an inch of its life so it won't pop back again. Alright, so that's off. These go back on here. Pardon me while I look up real close. Okay, here's my thing. Okay. Tangled. Okay, so you all know what I'm looking at here. So now what I do is go to the front and we knit these 3, past the 2nd and 3rd stitch, over the picked up stitch. Okay, here we go. I'll just scooch this aside because it's messing with my light. So knit until there is 1 stitch remaining on the left needle. Slip that stitch as if to purl, bring the yarn forward and yarn over, dip the needle into the edge of the knitting and bringing the yarn around to knit, pick up a stitch. Okay. There are now 2 more stitches on the needle than the original cast on, in this case it's past the 2nd and 3rd stitches, i.e. the slip stitch and the yarn over the picked up stitch. And that should leave us with 3. So there we go. Huh, that's interesting. Where's my other? There we go, tighten that up. Well, it's getting to be about 7 o'clock and my brain is starting to really fuzz out, which means it's time to eat. So I'll just try this a few more times until I figure out what the heck I'm doing. Slide the stitches down to the right end of the needle and repeat the process. Okay, so you notice that I automatically did this, but all my stitches are now on my left needle from my right. So then we knit, slip, as if to purl, and yarn over, knit from that side, and then pass these 2 over. Voila. Now how this isn't an I-cord bind off, I'm not really sure. But look nice in the picture. But it also looks kind of like a bind off. Right? Looks like a bind off to me, so what I don't understand. Oh, I guess, you know what, when I'm to the end, it's going to have me turn around and just pick up stitches like down here. You notice they're picking up stitches right there. So I guess that's what I would be doing. And I'll probably have that done relatively soon, and then I'll work on the left edge and then block the heck out of this thing and finish the hood up and attach that and then do the same thing all over again. My mixer's jumping around like it's full of hiccups. Don't understand what that's all about. What you doing there? Okay. Weirdo. So I'll do that a few more times and then I'm gonna go eat something before I die. Move these over to the left needle, knit, knit again, slip, yarn over, knit, slip these two bad boys over, voila. All right. Huh, that's kind of cool. All right, Liz, I won't die. Don't die either. I'm gonna go eat. I eat before I die. And I hope everybody enjoyed the stream. Thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it. I'll let you do. You guys keep being awesome, and I will see you next time, okay?